you're from the organisation SA Care.
Correct.
Could you tell us a little bit about SA Care and the services that you provide?
Sure. So I'll just explain. We're actually under On-Call Group Australia, SA Care. So our services go into Victoria and South Australia and Queensland. We have services nationally that are in-home services, so we go into people's homes and support them with personal care. We also assist people with shopping, going to the shops, those sorts of things. We have accommodations as well, so we support people with accommodations. In South Australia we have the GUMS, which is a transition from hospital. It can be respite, short term, medium term, and then a lot of people then go and move back out into the community in an SDA property.
What is SDA?
Specialist Disability Accommodation.
Thank you.
We also have our Thrive program, which is a positive psychology-based program which helps people to create purposeful and meaningful goals, and then we help them reach those goals out in the community. And it could be something like volunteering. So we've had participants do volunteering at Meals on Wheels. We've had participants do volunteering with the Botanic Gardens before, so it's really based on what people are really interested in.
And their capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely, their capabilities. So, and we also have allied health, so that is national as well. So we have OT, physio, PBS practitioner, and we have clinical nursing as well.
Can you let me know what a PBS practitioner is?
I'm sorry, I'm so used to the
anagrams.
lingo, and it's terrible, I shouldn't do that. It's a PBS practitioner, so it's a positive behaviour support practitioner. So they help anyone that might have some behaviours of concern, or maybe staff, support workers need to learn how to work with someone within their home or within the community so that they don't escalate, learn some anxiety, some mechanisms and skills to reduce someone's anxiety. So they're actually a really, really good practitioner to work with.
I wasn't even aware that was a deal.
Yeah. Look, I think that sometimes they can be really underutilised. I think a PBS practitioner can pull together a really good plan on how to get someone out into the community if that's something that they choose to do. So if they're really isolated in their home, they'll work out what those triggers are that makes them so nervous. They'll teach the staff on how best to work with them, how to de-escalate behaviours and actually get them out in the community. So highly recommended if people have one in their NDIS plan or have allied health in their NDIS plan, utilise one, find one. And also the thing with therapy, if you're not happy with the first one you get, find another one. You do not have to stay with that same therapist.
No.
So, it's about finding someone that works best for you and your family.
So SA Care. So you provide accommodations. You provide therapy. You provide. Do you provide support for the parents or the support workers?
Yeah, so what we do have is we have two different respite options. So we have respite at the GUMS. So our respite at the GUMS is a minimum of 2 weeks. And what we do find with that is particularly families that live regionally really like using the GUMS respite. It has its own bedroom, its own bathroom. The tracking goes from the bedroom to the bathroom. They have their own courtyard. Meals are provided, whatever they want. They can have Netflix, all of that sort of thing. It's actually just a really lovely getaway. It has beautiful sensory garden, hydro pool, gymnasium, and you can access our allied health team there as well. So it's actually a really great opportunity if you know that your situation has changed and you might actually need some extra supports. While you're doing your respite there, we can do a time in motion that can then be utilised by a support coordinator for a change in situation.
You said time in motion. What does that mean?
Time in motion is the points in the day that you actually need supports. So the points in the day that the support worker is supporting you. And then they tick it off on a chart, and all that data can then be used as evidence to NDIS that actually my needs have changed and I need extra care supports. You may not need them, but if you think you do or your family does, it's a great opportunity to do that too.
All right, I'm going to ask a question that is kind of a little bit of a bugbear of mine, which is that the NDIS cares for or provides support for 18% of the Australian disabled population. What are you doing, and how do the other 82% of the population get support from SA Care? Is that possible?
Well, actually, funnily enough, On-Call Group Australia and SA Care, we have just found out that we can provide Commonwealth Home Care packages, so CHISP, which means that anyone that is over 65 and gets assessed by their GP, our regional assessment team, you can even go online and do it yourself, may be eligible for certain CHISP or Commonwealth Home Care packages, and we can provide those in certain regions across New South Wales and Adelaide at the moment. We're hoping that if it goes well, we can support more people. So that's another area that we can support people in. It's not everyone, but people over 65, you know, they don't get NDIS unless they've already been on NDIS before they're 65. So there is a massive gap there and a massive need for that starting point support. So what we would be able to provide is domestic support, so helping going into their homes to do cleaning. We could do linen services and unassisted shopping. So there are all those little things that also help people to stay in their home for longer, because let's face it, we don't have enough accommodations for everyone to go in. But everyone can't go into hospitals as well. So it's just about putting those extra supports in place. So
That sounds great. So are you saying that you can supply services for people that are on NDIS or people who are over 65? Is that all? What about the rest of the population?
Oh, I wish we could. We do also work with culturally and linguistically diverse people as well. So, and we also do work in the palliative space as well. So we have in South Australia, we've had the PEPA training, and that is all around what is the best practice when working with someone that is in palliative care. So our support workers know how to work with family members and also the person that is end of life. So they're the areas that we're in. I think we can't do everything, you know, and I think when you try to do too much, then your services, you're not doing a great service. So
I just want to ask, so did SA Care and On-Call Group, did that exist before the NDIS?
All those different services. We actually, in South Australia, we actually used to be, before we were SA Care, we were a part of another aged care provider. We actually then got rid of our registration for aged care and just became a disability provider. So we have always had a connection there. The palliative space and the cultural and linguistically diverse space, I would say we have, I guess as we have grown, we have been also known in that degenerative neurological space, and of course sometimes palliative care is needed in those spaces. So we've had to upskill and train to make sure that we're ready for it. But we weren't always in those spaces, but we've had to adapt to the needs of what people needed.
Thank you so much. Thanks for talking to me, Alex.
My pleasure.